Now if we follow the line of sunrise out from the chamber and passage of Newgrange into the distance, it intersects a smaller Neolithic passage tomb called Fornox, which lies roughly 15 kilometres from here. Now, although Fornox is not visible from Newgrange, we wondered, was there any significance to this small site? When we plot a line on a map from Newgrange in the direction of the winter solstice sunrise sun, it intersects this site. So we wondered, was there a bigger connection with the Cygnus Enigma? So we're going to go up to Fornox now and have a closer look.
Fornox Passage Tomb is located 3 kilometres northwest of the village of Naul. The name Fornox comes from the Irish Fourknocks, which means the cold hills. The mound, known as Fornox Site 1, was excavated in the 1950s by P.J. Hartnett. 65 burials were discovered in the mound, containing both cremated and inhumed remains of adults and children. Decorated pottery, vessels, and personal ornaments, including pendants and beads, were also found. All of these items are now located in the National Museum. The chamber at Fornox is considerably larger than the chamber at Newgrange. It is approximately 42 square metres in size and contains many decorated stones, including the earliest Neolithic representation of the human face. The presence of zigzag patterns is suggestive of the W-shaped stellar constellation Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia would have been visible through the Fornox passage between 3000 and 2500 BC, around the time the site was constructed. Author Martin Brennan, whose pioneering work on Neolithic astronomy and art in Ireland, said the association of quadrangular patterns and stars is common to many cultures. Could the decorated stones represent star fields? Could Fornox have been an astronomical construct?
We're here at Fornox, which, as we heard earlier on, sits on the line of winter solstice sunrise viewed from Newgrange. And what we're doing is we're looking out through the narrow passageway to a point on the horizon in the far northeast. And we're looking towards the sky which is framed by this entrance. And what we're trying to do is to recreate what that sky would have looked like 5,000 years ago when Fornox and indeed Newgrange were in use. Now, what's interesting today is that if we look at a reconstruction of the sky, we see that Cygnus does sit in the north of the sky, but Deneb, the bright star, doesn't set at all during the night. But if we take the computer back to the time when Fornox was built, around 3000 BC, we can see that something much more interesting took place. Deneb, again the bright star of the Swan constellation, skimmed the horizon and actually set momentarily for a short time in the north, and then rose again in the north-northeast, which is where we're looking at out through the passage. So essentially, somebody sitting here 5,000 years ago would have been able to see Deneb, the bright swan star, rising on the distant horizon. Now, given all the connections we discovered earlier on, linking Newgrange and Fornox, and all of the myths about swans, we wondered whether the Swan constellation was indeed important to the ancient astronomer builders.
According to the Cygnus Enigma theory, on the night of the midwinter solstice, Deneb could have been used to track the path of the sun from the time the sun sets until the time the sun rises. So, observers at Fornox could determine the position of the sun below the horizon using Deneb as their guide. Could this be the oldest evidence of scientific thought? This is an amazingly sophisticated system developed by the Neolithic farmers of Ireland. The focus was clearly the rebirth of the sun at the winter solstice. To the Neolithic farmers, the winter solstice signalled the start of a new year. It was a sign of rebirth promising renewed life of crops. It may also have served as a powerful symbol promising new life to the spirits of the dead.